Was this Mezco Nightwing worth the wait? Let's find out. The packaging's nice and small and compact, showing Nightwing on the front, all comic book style. Got DC comic logo up here, Mezco 112 Collective up here. Side of the box, back of the box, same image as the front. So let's crack this bad boy open and see if he's worth the wait. And here he is, fresh out of the packaging, and this guy comes stacked with a load of cool accessories. So starting off with the hands, he's got loads of interchangeable hands, and they've got a nice blue detail on the knuckles here. Really pops. I'm liking that a lot. You can see the detail here, make it look like leather gloves. Really cool looking. Nice attention to detail there. He's got pair of these sort of hands. It's got these hands, and with these ones he's got some smoke bombs like sculpted into his hand. I think that's a very cool detail there. Again, you can see the blue just popping off the glove. Very cool looking, that. And he's got a pair of these sort of hands, which you use, I think you use this one to use on some of the accessories, which I'll show you shortly. Again, the blues, they really pop. I am liking that colour a lot. And he's got a pair of these. Where's the other one gone? Somewhere? Nope, there we go. Look at that. He's got knuckle dusters. How cool is that? So you can have Nightwing beating the shit out of enemies using knuckle dusters. That is really cool. I didn't expect him to have something like that. Again, he's got more weapons sculpted into his hands, and I like that Mezco do this. So it means they're not going to lose small pieces because they're all actually sculpted in to the hands themselves. Again, he's got another one. I'm not too sure what this gadget is. Yeah, I'm not. So if you know, let me know what this is. I'm not too sure. And then he's got more hands. He's got so many hands. It's crazy how many hands he's got. But these, look at these. Look at that. How cool is that? Got like an effect piece. So you've got Nightwing actually throwing smoke bombs. That is so cool. And what I like about these, it's not a hard plastic. So you can move these around, no problem. So you've got no issue with them snapping, which is great. And you've got playability with it. So that, in my book, is a really nice touch. Same again for the right hand. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot. You can see all the smoke kind of coming out. Nice paint detail in the silvers. He also has two of these launchers which attach to his wrist, which I'll try and demonstrate shortly. And he's got three of these. Well, he's part of the bat family, so I'm going to call them batarangs, even though they're probably not called batarangs. But again, got a really nice sheen to them, very well painted, very sharp as well. So if you get these, be careful. You don't want to cut your finger. So he's got three of them. He has two effect pieces of him, so he can spin his batons, which are very cool. Again, these are very pliable, so you can bend these, no issue with them breaking. And the hand you use to attach it, I think it's this one here. So it just slots in like so, and there it is. You can see him spinning it, which I'll put it on the figure in a bit. But I'm loving that effect. That looks so cool. I am liking that a lot. So he's got two of them. He also comes with these electric effects pieces, which just slot onto the buttons. So he's got a few different sizes. Got a large one, two smaller ones, and then he's got this one here where you can actually get these poles and extend them so you can have a staff. So I'm liking that. He also comes with a rope. You can also put in his battens, which I'll get one now. So these are his little battens, which you can turn into a staff. Comes with a little plug there. And you just slot it in. No, doesn't want to slot in there. Maybe certain ones for certain effects. Maybe. Let's try this end. There we go. That's a bit more snug. So he's got a bendable wire, and he also comes with a non-bendable wire, which is this one here, again with the grapple hook, very nicely painted, and it just slots in to the top of the batten like so. Pretty cool. I'm liking the fact they included a bendable wire and a non-bendable wire. That is very, very cool. So the battens themselves, they come in 4 pieces, and they're very well detailed. They remind me a bit of a lightsaber, but I really like the way the blue is popping off the sort of silvery black. They look very, very cool. So he's got, how many have we got here? So we've got 4, all the same, which is great. And then this bit here is the middle part of the staff. So I think you just plug it in. Which way do you plug it in? Not that way. Nope, doesn't want to go in there. What about here? Nope. Maybe it just works on these two. Nope. There we go. Yes, if you get this, I think certain holes work on certain accessories. There we go. So there's his staff now. Looking pretty cool. And then the effects pieces can just sort of just slot on, work around the actual, well, it's not really staying on here, but you get the idea. Maybe if I put this on here. Nope. Come on. There we go. That sort of thing. Obviously, with a bit more time, you can make it look a lot better than that. But very, very cool. I like the fact they're interchangeable. So put them to one side there. Comes with a Mezco bag, which is great. I love that Mezco include these, so you can keep all these accessories in one place. You don't have to worry about them getting lost or anything like that. And comes with a stand, and I really like Mezco stands. They're very very sturdy. It's got Nightwing here. The only issue I probably have with them is they are very big and they do take up a lot of shelf space, but all of these arms very, very stiff. You've got no issues with them coming loose. Obviously, if they ever do, you can just tighten them up with a screw, but they've never let me down, these stands. Highly recommend these stands. And he also comes with 3 different head sculpts. Obviously, the one on the figure itself, and he's got this one here, which is, he's got his hair sort of blown to one side, bit of a smirk. I don't know if I like it, to be honest. I don't like, you can see his teeth. Just looks a bit goofy to me. What do you think of that? And then he's got this one. You know, when you compare it to that one, this one to me, I think this is going to be my go-to head. It looks good. You know, he's got his hair sort of draping down towards his eyes. The mask is very well painted. Skin tone slightly a bit too yellow for my liking. And also, I think these heads they're oversized for the size of the body. But with that said, put them to one side. Let's take a closer look at the figure itself. So this is the stock head. you can see, again, I don't really know if I like the head sculpt on this. Like, he's got a bit of a, I know he's got a fat head. His head does look swollen, especially for the size of the body. But let's pop this head off and put this one on. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that's better. What do you think of that? I prefer that head sculpt. That's much better. So, accessory wise for this figure, it came with the holster already off. I had to attach it to this belt, and to do that, you took this little piece off the belt and then popped it in here, which, you know, I quite like that design, but I feel like it keeps popping off here, especially when you start moving it. It just pops off. And you can also remove the belt, which is awesome. So if you want a clean looking Nightwing, this figure has you covered. So let's take a look at the details. It's got really, really nice sort of armature here. I'm liking the blue. The blue really, really pops. Looks awesome. It's got the blue stripe down here, which goes onto his gauntlet, onto his glove. Very, very cool looking. Again, around here, it's got all the rivets and details here of his suit. I'm not too sure what the material of this is. It's not a pleather, but it feels kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of got like a bit of a wetsuit, rubbery sort of feel, but I don't think it's pleather, which is good. So we'll see how it holds up over time. But yeah, I'm liking just the look of it. Pops his knee pads, very, very cool looking boots. There's his treads, peg holes. Yeah, looks great. Again, you can see all that little details on his belt here. Looks awesome, awesome. You see how well his buttons fit in there? Let's have a look. See what I mean about the holster? It just pops off. No matter what you do, it just pops off, and it just doesn't really hold. There's a bit of a design flaw for that. They should have either just included a new belt or had something else. I don't know. I really don't know how they should have done this, because I don't like this design at all. But with that said, the back here, really, really clean looking. And to put his buttons here, it's just a sort of soft rubber, which you can just peel back a little bit and then insert his buttons like so. Oh, hang on. There we go. That's pretty cool. I'm liking that. So that functions very well. I do like that. Apart from this holster, I really don't like that. Another thing on this figure, which is a bit finicky, but it's kind of cool they included it. These gauntlets here actually pull off, and then you can put this accessory on it, which is like firing a little, I'm guessing some kind of dart, I don't actually know, and then it just snaps into place here, so you can get good old Dick firing his artillery from his wrist. I don't know, I don't really like that, to be honest. It's a bit, it doesn't really look that great. Is the other one a bit longer? No, they're the same size really. That's a bit rubbish. Yeah, I feel like this needs to be a bit longer so you can get like the effect looking a bit cooler. So let's take that off and put this back on here. So he's got that. And another thing, which I didn't realise it actually does, you can pull this gauntlet if he wants to do it, and it's on a little hinge. Come on. Oh. And then underneath it, there's like a little control. There we go. Like a control panel. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that was there. It's only by chance I kind of stumbled across it. So I'm guessing that's his, like, he's got his comms built into his gauntlet here so he can have contact with Batman and the rest of the Bat family. Very, very cool. So, articulation on this guy. I've not moved him around at all yet, so starting with the head. He's got a pretty good. He can't look up that much, but I think he's restricted from his hair here. But he's got a good range looking down, and it tilts really well. I quite like Mezco heads, really, the way the neck functions, because you can just pivot it with ease and getting looking. That looks pretty sick. He's got looking down like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. So that's his head. So arms, you can go up, no problem. Go down. Saying that, I've just noticed, yeah, when you lift it up, it kind of bunches here, but it looks like it's actually part of the suit. Yeah, I quite like that. Actually, looks like it's meant to be like that. I don't know if they've done that so it kind of protects the material, but you can see the material just goes down with ease. That's pretty cool. So it goes up fine. Can bend his elbows, swivel. I wouldn't push it more than that really, because I can feel it straining here. See the stitch work as well from his suit. Moving down there. Again, I wouldn't push him more than that, pushing his arm backwards. So he's got good range double elbow, which is great. Same on the other arm. Can't really push his arm like forward too much because I feel like it gets a bit restricted. Yeah, I feel like this arm moves a bit more than this arm. Don't know if I need to work with it a bit more or it's just my figure. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that. I feel like I can't push it up any more than that. So yeah, that's cool. I like his shoulder pads. The shoulder pads don't move, they're actually fixed onto the figure. His ab, oh, it's quite stiff. So if you get this guy, do be careful. Oh, he's quite limited really. I can't seem to get any crunch. I can get him going back a bit. We can do his classic, jumping off the rooftop. So we can go back. It's just the ab crunch. I don't know. It just seems non-existent. Jeez. I don't know if it's just my figure or it's an actual design. So if you get this guy, I'd love to know if you've got an ab crunch, because this guy just doesn't want to budge at all. That is very, very disappointing. Oh, that's a shame, that. Oh well. Legs. Let's see how much we can get here. I think that's about it. And he's got double jointed knees, which is great. Again, double jointed, no problem. It's a bit restricted kicking forwards with this leg because he's got the holster on, but you can make it work. Oh, I'm so good. The articulation is just not the best on this, because with a character like Nightwing, he's really acrobatic. He jumps around a lot, and yeah, it looks cool. And I like the fact, like, Mezco giving it their Mezco twist, because it's not a classic comic book look. But they should have done better with the articulation, because I've got some Mezcos And it has so much more articulation than this. And it also has this kind of material, but for some reason it just doesn't have the articulation which I hoped for with this figure. Does he even have a boot swivel? Yeah, he has a boot swivel, which is good. Ankle pivot. It's not the best. Yeah, he's got a little bit of movement in his ankles, but again, it's not great. Oh, the articulation really lets this figure down. But looks wise, you know, it's great. A solid 8 out of 10 for looks. But articulation, oh man, it is not great at all. And it doesn't even, like, I know I sound like I'm moaning now about this figure, but I've owned many Mezcos over the years, and I've got other Mezco figures which just move like so much better than this and more fluidly. That this just doesn't feel great in hand at all. It's got awesome looking accessories, you know, they function well, apart from this here, but it's just let down in the articulation department. Man, that's so disappointing. I'm gutted about that, to be fair. One thing I would have liked Mezco to do, I know they always do their own spin on iconic characters, but this here is a DC Icons, and I just love the classic look of this. That's comic book Mezco, not Mezco, Nightwing, comic book Nightwing. This, it's got the new 52 sort of look, but with a Mezco spin. But I just love the traditional, how the blue all connects with the black. Even though the blues on this, they look really cool, and they pop. They really do pop. But even the head sculpt on this figure compared to this looks so much better. So with that out of the way, my gripes and whatever, should we see if we can put any hands on him? See how easy it is to change. So let's try this thing. So this is his stand here. Again, I quite like that the Mezco's hands are very soft and pliable. Yeah, look at that. Get him throwing his smoke bombs. See, that works and functions very well. Just a shame with the articulation. Oh man, it lets it down so much. It really does. But he's still doing some cool stuff for toy photography. We see what it looks like with his batons in his hands. Which hand is it I want to use? I use this one here. So if you've got this guy, I'd love to know your thoughts. I know Mezco have done a red version of this, which was, I think it was a Comic Con exclusive, which I've not actually got, but I'd love to see like a comparison between the two of these and see which one is actually better. But the articulation, oh, it's so disappointing. Yeah, look at that. This looks cool. I'm liking this effect. It just wants to sit in there. Yeah. How cool is that? So you can have him all just spinning his batons. Are they batons or are they called staffs? I don't know what they call them. But that's, oh, how cool is that? Even though it wants to just pop off. So, with that out of the way, should we have a look at some size comparisons? So let's just stand him up a bit better. No, we want to stand. There we go. So, I don't have many other Nightwings to actually compare him to, but I've got the DC Icons, which I showed you earlier. The scale doesn't really work, but side by side, I really like this one. As much as I like the blues, I keep saying the blues really pop, and they do. They pop on all the accessories. I really dig the blue, but I'm a sucker for, you know, just classic looking characters. So here he is next to a Mezco Superman, and here he is next to my custom Bruce Wayne. Absolutely towers over this guy. They're not in scale at all. And here he is next to a CT Toys little bootleg Wolverine. Very, very small compared to this guy. Gives you a sort of scale of the Mafex, because this scales with Mafex very, very well. So you could probably make that work actually, because Wolverine's meant to be smaller. So I quite like that scale, to be honest. That's pretty cool. And then here he is next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool, if he wants to stand. There we go. I really like this figure as well. Yeah, you could probably make that work, to be fair. I think that works. And then here he is next to a Muffs Toys Clark Kent Superman, which I've done a review of this guy. Fantastic figure, really good. We don't get many Clark Kent figures on the market, so this I'd definitely say it's a must-have if you've not got it already. Very cool figure, that one. And here he is next to another Mezco. Again, these scale perfectly. This is Deathstroke. I'm liking that. See what I mean about the head sculpts on Mezco? When they want to do something right and do something awesome, they will. Like, look at the detail on that. And then it gives you this. The flesh colour is pretty off when you compare it to this. I don't know, man. What do you think? Are Mezco getting worse? I know they're getting more expensive, but I just think the quality is just not there. Like this figure is a few years old now, and the detail is just, you know, it's great for this scale. Then we compare it to what they're putting out now. They're so hit and miss. Like, again, I bring in another Mezco comparison. So you got Nightwing, you got Ben Affleck, Batman here from BVS. The scale works, but again, like, the articulation on this guy absolutely trumps this guy, and this is like years old now. This figure, and it moves better, and I don't know. I'm feeling really disappointed with this figure. I've not had that feeling for quite a while, and I've been excited for this. This has been on pre-order for well over a year now. As much as he looks cool, I don't know, the more I'm handling him, the more I'm not liking him. And then let's just put him next to Michael Myers. He absolutely towers over him. It looks cool though. I like this figure. So if you did want a cleaner looking Nightwing, like I said before, you can actually remove his belt. There should be a little pin somewhere. Where's the pin? There we go. Just on this side here. Just pops off. And then slide his holster off his leg here. No, does not want to come off. Got caught on his boot. So fiddly, this. Come on. Ugh. Well, there's his belt off. Come on, holster. See what I mean? It was a pain to put on in the first place, and now I'm trying to take it off. It just doesn't want to come off on camera. There we go. So I don't know if I actually prefer it like that. Just a bit more of a sleeker looking Nightwing. So it gives you options. So if you do pick up this guy, you know, you can have a cleaner looking look. So it's a bit closer to the classic looking look, or you can go for more of a modern Mezco-fied look. So let me know what you think of this figure. If you're picking him up, I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm a bit disappointed in him. I'm really excited about getting him, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.